hola, bienvenidos. As you guys can see from the title, today we are doing the hot takes, you guys. I'm ready for this video. I just glanced through them, but I didn't really fully sit down and read them thoroughly. But in my personal life, oh my goodness gracious, talk about being treated badly. And I've been wanting to get some of this out. So this is the perfect video to just release some of that. I asked you guys to give me hot takes, which is unpopular opinions about the beauty community or about the panning community. So some of you guys came after some people, and that's okay. I do have my thoughts and opinions. And again, this is just my thoughts and my opinion of it. Everyone thinks differently. Everyone is on a different journey. Everyone has different destinations. So just keep that in mind. So I hope nobody gets offended or bent out of shape for anything. This is just a lighthearted video to point out some things that maybe you guys have internally been keeping, and so have I. So if you're interested, stay tuned. But if you're new, Alejandra, I go by Alex, eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash project pan. That is something you want to continue to see on your feed? Subscribe and join us. And now let's get on with these hot takes. You guys, it's been feeling like fall, and I am trying to fight it as I do every September of every year. I went with a deeper lip, but not too deep because I wasn't ready for the vampy lip yet, but I'm getting there. All right, so last time I did a Q&A, I started from the first comment all the way up to the last one. This time I'm going to start from the most recent hot take all the way down to the bottom, and I'm just going to talk to you guys. Some of these were so good that I didn't feel and didn't want to take away from it while doing my makeup. So I'm just going to chit chat and talk to you guys about it because I haven't done one of these videos in a while like this where I'm just chilling and chit chatting with you guys. Prep yourselves. Prep yourselves. All right, the first hot take I have is I know at the end of the day it all depends on the person, but I feel like most panners are involved in too many project pans. There are so many fun project pans, but it becomes pretty clear when some people have 4+ projects going on and are obviously overwhelmed. Then it honestly doesn't become very fun to watch anymore since they are miserable, hate panning, etc. This is something that I have been feeling myself as well. This is the first year where I did more than 4 project pans a year. I have, I think 6. I think it's just 6 of them, which is still not a lot, but it is more than 4. And I noticed that the last project pan that I included in here, it was only no makeup. It had to do with no makeup because I knew I was going to get overwhelmed. I also feel the same way. I follow project panners on YouTube as well as Instagram, and there are some that do so many project pans. More power to them, but knowing how I project pan, knowing how I am good at panning certain things and horrible at panning other things, I can't help but think that they're overusing the product, digging into the product, slapping it on right before they wash their face just to get another usage in or to try to hit pan on, because it's impossible. Some formulas, it is impossible to hit pan and things, and I know that. Like, I can only use 2 full-size, never been used foundations in a year. I don't know how somebody can use more than that. And I don't use a lot either. So I agree with you on that. I agree with you. My limit is 4. I've already did a poll on my community tab to see which 4th project pan you guys wanted to see. I'll reiterate that sometime in the future on my actual channel to have you guys vote on which one should be my 4th one. That doesn't mean I'm not going to do short-term ones because I feel like short-term ones are easier and funner to do, but I'm not going to overwhelm myself. And 4 is my limit when it comes to long-term, year-long project pans. But I do agree with you. I don't know how they do it, and I feel overwhelmed for them, because I'm watching them and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know how you're doing it because I know I can't. All right, so we got a couple of hot takes here, so let me take it a little bit here. Couple of hot takes. A lipstick isn't fully panned unless you use up what's inside the bullet, like below the plastic. Okay. I get what you're saying, but you have to put it in perspective. If you only have like 20 lipsticks, I can understand that because you have more time to use that lipstick up without the other ones really going bad or without them being used. But when you have a large collection of lip products, it becomes unnecessary. It becomes to the point where like you're wasting the other brand new ones to dig out another one. You know what I mean? So for me personally, that's not going to work right now, but I can see that happening if I ever get to a point where I only have like 20, 30 lipsticks and I can still rotate them without feeling like and I can use that one up and dig out of it and not waste my other newer ones that I have, if that makes any sense. So I agree and disagree. I think that all depends on the person and how much lip products they have because I can see it both ways. The other hot take, digging into or overusing an eyeshadow just to pan is wasteful and contradictory to the true ethos of panning. I agree. I completely agree. I've known people I started project panning on my own in 2014, 2015, before there was a project pan community, and I knew, and there was a challenge going around. It was like I told you guys, it was like a tag challenge going around, and I knew somebody who had a Bobbi Brown shimmer brick, and she hit pan, and I said, how in the world did you hit pan on that? She literally told me she would scrub and tap off. She actually admitted that to me, and that's how she was wasting the product, and those things were not cheap back then. They still are not cheap now. I am not one. There are formulas where you actually have to dig. There are formulas, and I'm saying this, and I'm not saying it applies to all formulas, but there is formulas where you actually have to dig because you can't get any product on your finger or brush. So there's an exception to this, but I don't feel like, and I can't, here's the other thing. I can't say that everyone is digging because everyone applies makeup differently. Some people are very light-handed and some people are genuinely tough with their makeup. Like they just genuinely dig. Like I could see my youngest daughter being a digger because she really likes to gunk things on and really make sure they're on and then buffs. I can see that. So I don't think that everyone is digging. I don't think everyone is doing this on purpose. I think it's just your way of applying makeup. But that's not saying there aren't certain people that are, because I've known of people who have actually admitted to digging to their products. Next one, you guys. I don't understand why some panners focus on things to use up that they find just okay. They often argue that they only want items in their collection that they truly love, but they take up so much time panning mediocre things that their faves have gone off long before they actually have time to use them. Okay, so this one I can speak on my own. A lot of these I'm speaking of on my own. Like I'm just speaking for myself and I can't speak for everyone, but I'm going to explain to you guys how this applies to me. Okay. When you decide to pan a product, typically and most of the time you may have a favorite. For instance, let me just give you this example. I know that my MAC Pro Longwear is my top favorite concealer. And I know it is, but I have other concealers in my collection that I want to use up before I get to it. This is just an example, okay? I don't know how those other concealers are because I've always loved my MAC Pro Longwear concealer, but I'm allowing myself to try something new because that's how you do it in this world. You start to use that concealer, but honestly, some products take you a while to realize if it's just okay or not. So I can't say that every time a project panner has a product and says, oh, this was just okay, I won't repurchase it. You don't know that you can't grab that kind of information most of the time, not all the time, most of the time from watching a review from someone else. You have to use that product for an extended period of time to realize that. And as a project panning mentality, when you start to use a product and you used it halfway and you realize it's just okay, most of us just want to finish it because why throw out half the product when you know it still works for you. It's just not your favorite, but you want to finish it off. So that's my perception of that. I can't speak for those that use something knowingly that it's just okay. But I've known from my own personal experience, every time I find a product that is just okay, it didn't wow me, but it still worked. But the thing is, if I use something else in the future, I may go back and realize that product was better than the one I'm using now. I don't know that unless I try other things. So that's my mentality with that thing. I don't think that it's done on purpose most of the time. It's just comes with the territory of project panning, because you can't things don't work the same in different seasons. Things don't work the same with with the same skincare. You know what I mean? Like, you change things up in your life, your diet, your skincare, your seasons. So things work differently. So I don't agree with this 100%, but I see where you're coming from, but I'm showing it from my perspective. Next one. Don't force yourself to pan a product that you hate just to use it up. Take the enjoyment out of panning. I have been saying this for years. Before project panning blew up, that was one of my tips and tricks, because I remember making that video back in like I was still in my old house. And I remember saying that because that was one of my deterrents from joining the project panning community, from actually doing project pans. And I would just do it on my own, because I would always hear how people would hate something and they would use it. Don't do it, you guys. I've said it a million times. The money has been spent. Find somebody else that's going to love it. Find someone else that will enjoy it. Use what you love, because it'll make the whole entire process so much better. I've seen so many people quit project panning because they don't like to reach for that product. If you don't like to reach for it, get rid of it. Get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. Resell it. Give it away. Donate it. There's so many different options. I think that we have this mentality sometimes where because we spent the money, we ourselves have to use. No, I find so much more enjoyment in giving something I don't like to someone who's going to love it, and knowing they're going to love it, because my money was worth it then. They're enjoying it, then my money was well spent on someone else. And I'm okay with that. But I think that's a personal journey and a personal thing that people have to do. But I agree. I've said it a million times. Don't pan something you know you hate. Up next, here's the next one. Even though I love watching panning videos, I don't get panning as a concept. I find panning something people don't love to get it out of their collection even more confusing. People only have one face and can only wear so much each time. Every time I put on makeup, I'm panning it, and I'd much rather use up the things I like the most. Well, this is the thing. Project panning is such a personal journey, a personal thing, that you can make it what you want it to be. Don't base it on someone else's journey or someone else's reasonings as to why they're panning. If you enjoy something, use it. How many times have I told you guys that I don't care to have a million complexion products? I want my one or two. And have you guys seen me put a lot of complexion products in my project pans this year? No, because I enjoy what I have and I am organically using them. If I put it in a project pan, it's because I just want you guys to see the progress, not because I want to get it out of my life, not because I just want to use it up. It may be because it's getting older and I have to force myself to remind myself to use it more instead of flip-flopping from one product to another, but not necessarily because I have to get it out of my collection. Back years ago, I did that only for sample sizes, for things that were sitting in my collection because they were either getting lost in my collection because I couldn't see them, or they were a product that I love, but I wanted to hold on to because I loved it that much. I needed to get in that mentality where you need it, just use it. Don't let it go to waste. That was the only reason why I would say I want to get it out of my collection. For two reasons. It was getting lost and I kept forgetting it in the shuffle, or two, I loved it and I enjoyed it and I would save it for that rainy day kind of thing. And I did that a lot. I've done that since I was a kid, and that's something that I've been working as an adult to not do with clothes, with shoes, with handbags. I mean, I'll save it for that special occasion and I never get to wear it. And then I have to throw it out because either the material has ruined or I gained weight, whatever the case may be. So that's a personal thing for me. But that's my thought process on that one. I can't speak, again, I'm not speaking for anyone else. This is all about me. And I'm not trying to be like, self-conceited or anything over here, but I'm just talking on my own experiences. That's why I would say those things. Now I don't say that because I don't have I don't have sample sizes. I don't have things that I really need. Project panning has allowed me to control the categories that I wanted to control by realizing how long things take to use and what my preferences are. Watching reviews is not helping me to figure out my preferences. Using a product for a long term, realizing that. Like just recently I realized I can't buy any foundations with an SPF in them because I get a reaction. That's what I mean. And this whole time I've been having lipstick on my teeth, even though I did the finger thing. Okie dokie. Contrary to belief, you don't need every release a brand does to be a supporter of a brand. I agree. I have said that I do have there are brands where I have every eyeshadow palette that they have come out with. Not every brand, but I don't own every release that they have. I don't own any of their blushes, their highlighters, their foundations, their liquid lipsticks, that kind of stuff. All right, you guys, sorry. I got a phone call from the school, so I lost my train of thought, but I think we were on the, you don't need every release. Yes. I don't have every release from any brand. Not every single thing. Now, can I say I don't have, there's only one brand where I have every single one of their eyeshadow palettes. That's it. Other than that, I don't. And it's not even a lot. This brand doesn't release so much so often that I can do that. That's the thing. That's why this is the only brand that I do have every release of. But yeah, you don't need every release from every brand. You guys clearly see I don't have every Natasha Denona palette. I don't have every Pat McGrath palette. I don't have every Give Me Glow palette. I don't have every, I just don't. It gets to be expensive. Things are costing a lot more these days, especially. And I've said it over and over. I've done videos where you can dupe the vibe of new releases, which I'm going to continue to do now with the holiday season coming up. I want to bring that back to remind myself as well that you don't need every release. I don't buy every release, and good for you if you can. I just can't. Next hot take. I love a panner who pans favorites versus fails. If it's a fail, use it on the body. Give it to a kid for art. Do something but walk away. As a creator, my hot take is that panning content takes a lot of effort to make and stay up with versus YouTubers who always have the newest new. No follow-up. Panning is consistent follow-up. It deserves mad props. I'm a terrible panner, and I think there is a missing category for those of us who want to consume less and use what we have, but panning isn't a priority. I completely agree with you on that one. I hate dirty panning. It should be clean, not totally must. Few panners have your energy, and many are boring to watch. I don't know why. I think I'm also bored and have zero stones to throw. I'm also boring and have zero stones to throw. Well, thank you, first of all, for telling me that panning is fun to watch from me. I try to make my videos as entertaining as possible because I have been there where you have said, where I've loved to see things used and loved and a pan, but the panner doesn't seem enthusiastic about it, doesn't seem excited about it, doesn't have this excitement and thrill about it. So I get bored, and I understand what you mean. I also agree that panning should get more props because it is hard to pan. It is hard to sit and follow through on committing to stick with a product to see it done or hit that goal or really get a thought process on it. This is why I always say I love to listen to project panners talk about a product because they have used it. They have loved it. They have hated it. They have hit pan on it. You could see the long-term effect of how long a product will take. You can genuinely and without it being, it's authentic, it's authentic to see somebody getting bored with a product because you have used it long-term. It's natural for most of us to get bored with a product. That's okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. And yes, I do agree that there should be a niche, and this is, and you see, I get so passionate about stuff. You just hit the nail on the head with me. Recently, I posted a video of an update of a project pan where I am, what's the word? I am basically, I graduated from that project pan. I don't know which, I can't get the word out of my head, but I'm basically, I outgrew it. I outgrew the project pan because it no longer fits my category or my collection. And I'm getting to a point, I've been saying this now for a year. I've been throwing these zingers out here where I keep saying I'm going to get to a point where I'm outgrowing project panning. And I'm starting to see that. I'm already realizing that certain project pans I can no longer participate in next year, even though I love them and I love the creators, because I have been so good at changing my mindset of how I'm shopping for makeup and using my makeup that I don't need them to help me out in that aspect. And I keep saying it and I'm saying it again. I'm getting to a point where it's harder for me to use products. It's harder for me to have multiple project pans because these products are taking me a lot longer to use and you're going to get bored. I'm going to get bored. So I am getting to a point, and now you've said it, so now I'm just going to say it, is I'm going to outgrow project panning. I have a feeling within another year or two. My career, my journey on project panning is coming to an end, and I'm seeing that, and I'm getting to a point where I need to find my group of people, my community, where I love to use what I have, but I'm not necessarily buying new stuff. And I don't know. I don't know if there's a community out there. Maybe I'll start a community out there. I don't know, but I'm starting to see myself where I'm getting more creative, and I'm trying to get more creative with my ideas of my videos, where I can kind of be relevant to what is going on today with the trends, but not necessarily buying every single release, showing the newest all the time, and not having to stick to certain products all the time because I'm project panning them. So you just basically laid out my few years that I've been thinking. This is what I've been thinking for at least the last 2 years now. I'm getting to a point where project panning is no longer going to be my thing. And I am accepting that. But I have to figure out, this is where that evolution happens again, where you evolve and you change, and I'm starting to do that, where I'm starting to change, and I don't know where I'm gonna go, but I'm warning you guys now, there will come a point where I will no longer even do 4 project pans. It may just be 2, 1 a year, just to have something to keep my head in the game kind of thing, like remind myself how long things take to use up and not fall back to my old habits. But there will be coming a point where that will happen. All right, guys, I don't know how long this video has, so I'm just going to do 1 or 2 more. You guys gave me a ton, and I love these, and I'm so happy you guys do this. All right, next one. I feel like reviews should be done with clean makeup brushes. People be like, OMG, this blush is so pigmented, but they haven't washed that brush for like a year. I can't help but think this because you guys... One of the main reasons why I, from day one, I wash my brushes on Sundays. I say this all the time. I've said it for years. Every Sunday, I sit down and wash my brushes. Not spot clean them. I deep clean my brushes. One, it helps with, breakouts and things on my face. This is why my face is always so clean, because I don't put dirty. My brushes get used for 6 days, and that's it. Once those 6 days are done, that's it. I don't use those brushes going forward anymore. I completely changed my face and my eye brushes. And I have a ton to rotate this over and over. But when I do see reviews and I do see that brush going up to her face and, yes, I agree with you. And then it boggles my mind when I hear, I have texture on my face or I have a lot of breakouts. Well, if you're not helping yourself with cleaning your brushes or using a clean brush to really see how that blush or bronzer or highlighter is really working. I'm like, and there's different brushes that work with different products too. You got to consider that too. But yeah, I'm with you on that one. I can't stand a dirty brush. Ugh. All right, the last one, you guys, because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a 30-minute long video. I know it's fun to see people go through products, but I get skeptical when people go through products so quickly, like if someone goes through 13 mascaras and 6 foundations in 1 year. I'm always wondering if they are being wasteful when other people struggle to just finish 1 a year. I know everyone is different, but some people seem to be wasting product or mixing a million products together just to go through stuff. Okay, so I agree, and I agree with you for the most part. Everyone uses makeup differently. Everyone's way of applying makeup is different as well. But there is a certain point where you start to realize, all right, there's no way that person could go through 6 foundations a year. The only way I can justify somebody going through 6 foundations a year if those foundations were already more than halfway used. There's no way you can use a full size foundation, 6 of them in 1 year, unless you are a makeup artist, unless you are sharing. Like, for instance, this is just a prime example for me. I am going through eyeliners like water this year. Eyeliners take me over a year to use. The main reason why I am going through eyeliners like crazy this year is because my daughter's soccer team, they're a lot older. They're in that age where they're starting to wear makeup and stuff, but they're not using it for makeup. They're using it to like write down their numbers of their jerseys on their arms or their legs or draw a soccer ball. You know what I mean? And I caught them last year doing it with permanent markers. So I said to myself, I will let you guys use my eyeliner so that way your parents don't have to sit there and scrub things off of your body. And there's colorful eyeliners. There's different, so the girls can write on them for every game, things like that. So that's the reason why I am going through eyeliners like crazy. But I don't feel like that's being wasteful because it's being used on the body, on the skin, and that's what the product was intended to be used for, on the skin. And the girls it's safer for them. I'm trying to find a safe way for them, and that's the safe way for them. I think gel liners I might end up going to gel liner, but I'm trying to hold off because that's even more permanent. Like, that's harder to take off than an eyeliner is. So I can see where you're coming from, but you have to realize that you have to listen to the explanation as to why the project planner is going through so much. Because when I say at the end of the year, I went through X amount of eyeliners, you're probably going to think, Alex, were you just sharpening them and throwing them away? No, that is my reasoning why. But I will give you my reason why, because I know I'm not stupid and I know how long an eyeliner takes. I do agree that I'm also skeptical of certain people when I'm like, ooh, you went through how many powders? Really? Like, what are you doing? And this is the thing. You want to multitask your products? Fine. I get it, because I've multitasked products, but I've only multitasked products when it's my last resort, when I can't find somebody else to use it, where I can't gift it to somebody, where I can't donate it because it's to a point where I've used it too much or whatever the case may be. Then I'll multitask it. But I don't multitask too many products or mix things in. I'm not a frankener. I don't think you guys ever see me franken anything. I am not a frankener. I don't do that. If it doesn't work for me, see you later, goodbye. If I can make it work, I will make it work, but I don't franken often. I rarely franken. Repressing is a different story, but I don't think I've ever frankened anything. And more power to you if you want to do that. But I find more enjoyment and more happiness to give the product as it is and intended to someone who it will work for, than mess up the product and then I still don't like it and I'm still stuck with it. And then I add more product from another product. Now it's even more of a mess. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do that. So I get it. I get what you're saying. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt because everyone pans differently. But I will say this to you. Being on this platform for close to 10 years and seeing so many things change, I am almost positive that those individuals that either pan way too much, are in way too much project pans, that have way too much to pan, or that mix things up or something, there will come a breaking point for those individuals. They're just going to get tired of it. They're going to get exhausted from it. It's going to become a chore and like another job to kind of keep thinking about these things. They will get tired of it at some point. At least that's what I've seen. That they'll come to a point where they're like, all right, enough's enough. I'm just going to stop either buying these products or finding other people to enjoy them, donate them, whatever the case may be, just to make it easier on them. Because it is a lot of work. Let me tell you, it's a lot of work to try to figure out how to franken things to work for you and then how to finish things. It's a lot more work than it seems like on camera. At least I know I've seen it. So that's all that I'm saying about that. All right, guys, there is a ton more hot takes. I might do a part 2 of this because you guys got some juicy ones that I didn't get a chance to even talk to you guys about. Thank you guys so much for submitting these. I appreciate it, for taking the time to do this. You guys are so much fun. I don't want anybody to get offended by anything I said. Anything that I have said has been from personal experience, what I have seen, my perspective. Not everyone sees what I see. Not everyone pans the way that I pan. Not everyone has the same journey or destination. So I just want you to, please do not get offended by anything I said. It's just my experience, what I have seen, what I have grabbed. I may not see the same project pan as you guys do, or vice versa. So things that I might have seen, you may have never seen, and that's okay. Do you. Do you, you guys. I never want to deter anyone from doing anything that they want to do, because I know how that feels. I've been deterred many times from doing things that I wish I would have done instead, but listening to others, just you listen to your gut and do what you got to do. That's okay. It's your stuff. Remember, at the end of the day, you spent the money on those products. You're the one storing those products. And at the end of the day, you got to decide what to do with those products, not anybody else. So do you. Thank you guys again. Thank you so much for watching. I will put more videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, adios.